Hello, good evening. Welcome to another live Facebook talk on giving and receiving. As I said yesterday, I was going to try to do it as much as possible. Have these little talks and spirit messages regarding receiving and giving. And let's start from where we left off yesterday. Yesterday we left off on possibly talking today about trust, which we will get to after we kind of recap. So the recap of yesterday was actually having the ability to see our motives when we are giving and when we are giving mostly. And and unmasking the type of giving that we're providing, such as a service to somebody, a donation, love, whatever it may be. So, do we have attachments to those items? Are we trying to control the situation? Are we expecting an outcome? What are our motives when we're giving? Do we have the ultimate intention of the person that we're giving to, place, or thing? And out of that talk yesterday, we came to the conclusion, and the message came out loud and clear that, it's also a matter of trust. And trust also equals to faith underneath it all. But in order for us to, and now getting into the topic of trust, when we're looking at trust in a situation where we're giving, we give, out of a sense of freedom, of a spirit of love, a very unselfish selflessness that occurs, and some people may call it altruism, some people may call it being a martyr. Some people could be, mistakenly who are martyrs, altruistic. And martyrs, they give and give and give and give without, any sense of, what's being given away, so to speak. And where some of them do, and some martyrs are more egotistical than the real martyrs, where they know they're sacrificing their time in life for the greater good. And in most cases, we all don't have to be a martyr. Like, let's say Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ died on the cross for everyone and their sins, supposedly. So that nobody else has to die. And that man came with a message of love. He gave freely, without any control. He wanted the human experience here on earth for his brethren to be something based out of love, a free love, uncontrolled love, that one brother to another, one sister to another will look after for each other. So when we look at giving and we look at trusting when we're giving out of that unbound love that is not controlled or contrived, it's actually you're going into a center of trust that, hey, I got this. And if you have it, you obviously will be able to give it away. If you don't have it, what you're giving away, probably is not going to help the other person, place, or thing. And when we look at it that way, when we receive, We receive with no problem, knowing that we will be provided for. We have faith that, things will be okay if I give away, this necklace to so-and-so. Because I know for a fact I could give it away and that person really needs it. And I know I can, I'm meant to do this. Or I'm acting out of, just pure being my martyr self. Now, I'll get into martyrism a little bit later, but for now, we're talking about control. So when you're giving freely, you're receiving freely, right? So when you give, what? You give with your hands, right? Hands open. With whatever it is, your hands are the container or the holder, the placeholder, temporary placeholder, right? To that person, place, or thing. And when you give it up, and then what? You're not really expecting, right? We're not expecting when we're giving away selflessly. When we're giving away selfishly, we're expecting. But when we're giving away selflessly, we still have our hands open and potentially, something might just pop in, or you have a sense of fulfillment in your heart, and your heart resonates into the universe. Gratitude for having the ability to help someone else, or at your core, you're hitting a deeper level of spirit that connects to the rest of the universe, and that river, that stream of love that continuously goes on throughout the universe. And what happens when we center ourselves and we connect? We actually have the ability to network, to be, available, to be fulfilled, enriched. And that enrichment equates to what? It equates to receiving, enrichment, to enrich, to be abundant, prosperity. And before you know it, you have faith. You're abundant in faith. You have faith in your core. You're receiving because you have faith. And you're receiving because your hands are still open and they're not closed. When our hands are closed, we don't receive, right? We have our hands closed because we're angry, we're resentful, we're fearful, we're protecting ourselves, we're protecting our life, we're protecting our resources, whatever it is that we don't want to let go of. But, if you're with faith and you're not controlling the situation or the outcome, you have no expectations. Expectations also is a form of control. You're actually in a place where you can receive. You're actually also you're living in the moment. So think about it next time when you're giving and receiving. Yesterday, I talked about when you're giving, check your motives. Are you being selfish or are you being selfless? And today, if you're, on the other side that you have to look at is if you're being controlling. So if you're full of faith, then you're giving away selflessly. You have nothing to worry about. You're in a place of still receiving because your hands are open and not full of resentments. Or let's say your heart or your mind also. Your mind is not trapped in yesterday or in the future. It's trapped here in the moment. Well, not trapped really, but here, center in the moment. I think you know what I'm saying and you get what I'm saying. So when we're not controlling the situation, think of it as your hands being open, full of love, full of selflessness, and really full of spirit. You're in the flow of the universe. that universal love. I like to think of it as the great river of love in the universe. And that river runs like any other river that we see here on the earth. It runs freely, abundantly, surely, in one direction. So imagine if we allow our spirits to be like that. Our consciousness, our minds, not controlled, you know? So you might say, Lady Chimaka, you know, there has to be some level of control. Well, in this aspect, I'm talking about, you know, when we're giving and receiving. Yeah, there has to be a level of monitoring, of being responsible over our actions. But again, if your action is to stay in the moment and live freely and selflessly with faith, then you're not controlling the situation, you're not expecting, and we're forever in that flow, the enrichment flow of love, of abundance, of everything that we need to live in our bodies, in our spirits, and here in this physical world. So that's the message for today. We'll get more into martyrs, let's say tomorrow, around the same time. And if I'm not here around the same time, I promise you, I will let you know when I can be. But for now, I have some energy for some questions and answers. So if you have any scenarios, anything you like to address from what I said, anything you want clarified, go ahead. This is your moment. I know some of you have come in a little late, so again, the topic is control in everything that we do when we especially are giving and receiving. And if we're controlling the situation, we're not really receiving or giving. I think the best form of control is the type that when we're living in that moment and just being, when we're really controlling just ourselves, and making ourselves clear and really channeling our energy for good, for that giving, for that love. Any questions? Questions and answer time. Understanding, clarity. Hit me. We're silent. We're pondering. Well, if you can't think of any questions, then after the video has dropped and posted, you can always go in the comments area, post a question, and I'll check back and I'll answer your questions. Anything that you want clarity on, anything that you didn't understand, anything you want me to explain a little further, or anything that you're actually tackling on the same subject that you would like more clarification on, any tips I'm open to give. Also, you have the message area here on Facebook. You can message me and give me a private message. And send me some feedback and any questions. Also, I'm also available for readings, so don't forget that booking button. I think it's at the top, yeah, that way, or that way. Anyway, this has been great, and I'm looking forward to doing another one tomorrow. Hope you are too. Have a good night, and I will be signing off. Peace and blessings.